Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host as always, Rick. Joining me equally as always is Devon.
Hello, it's the end of This Is the May.
It is, and we've pivoted from our original plan to do the one last throw of Star Wars. We're doing another Starfighter fantasy fighting game roster. But before we get too far into that, let's go with our good old time-honored tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. What have you got for me today?
All right, Rick. I've got an answer to this question, and that's why I came up with the question. So please, no judgment.
Okay.
What is the worst thing you can think of to add to Star Wars lore that doesn't mess with the story?
Confirmed eugenics.
Oh, we've got that. No, you can't even say that doesn't exist.
Yeah, that was, yeah, the
I didn't mean
the clones, ain't they?
I didn't mean the something evil. I just meant something that would just like ruin the franchise for people because they're like, oh, why would you write this?
The insistent knowledge and terminology that Gungans have echidna penises.
Oh, so we're going to Sonic's route of doing things.
Yeah. We're having those weird 5-finger hand penises that echidnas have, and we're making it so that George is very excited to make sure that you know this.
Is he also going to make them have the mile-long mating trains? Did you know about that one?
Yeah.
Sometimes
all the way around.
Sometimes,
all the way around Autogunga.
Sometimes an echidna will go into hibernation, and by the time she's woken up, she's still getting banged by the train.
Oh boy.
Echidnas are fucked.
Yeah. I'm going with that. With no previous knowledge or preparation. That's what I'm going with. So yeah, what's your actual answer?
Yeah, mine also has to do with genitalia. Yeah, so you know how Twi'leks have the 2 head things?
Yeah.
And that's basically their hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's also their pubes. I'm going to ruin Twi'leks and I'm going to ruin Star Wars.
What, so they just got fleshy pubes?
I guess. They're kind of like tentacles, aren't they, really? They're just little ones just above. And
so like villi, yeah.
And some Twi'lek dudes are really annoyed because some of their pubes are bigger than their dick.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Take that one, Star Wars nerds. Rick, what's your question?
Mine's what would you erase from the real world?
We did kind of do this.
Yeah, but this one is a little bit more human. You get to erase the achievements of a non-war-based person from human achievement. Who do you pick?
That's a tough one because a lot of the people who have my immediate thought goes to inventions, but a lot of people who've invented really awful shit have also done something that has propelled humankind to such a level that to get rid of to blanket their entire achievements as opposed to just one individual one completely fucks things.
Yeah.
Let's go for Zuckerberg.
Sure. Yeah. I can't think of something that he in particular or Facebook on the whole has added to the world.
They're pretty much just buying other shit. Like, you could equally say Elon Musk, but unlike Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg actually invented his social network.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Technically, he stole the idea, but he did all the legwork. So it's one of those weird ones where, he might have stolen the idea, but he did all the coding, or not coding. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah. It's like the opposite of Elon Musk, actually. Actually did some of the work, but whereas Elon just takes things that already exist and puts his name on them.
Which is something you can do when you're a billionaire.
Yeah.
Right, what about you? Because you've clearly thought of this question longer than I have been able to.
Yeah, mine is, it's something that I found out about from QI, and it's Thomas Midgley Jr. He's possibly the most polluting man in human history.
This is the guy that put lead in petrol, isn't it?
Yeah, he put lead in petrol, and he put Freon into refrigeration systems. So,
he's the reason why you couldn't throw them by the river.
Yeah. So,
this is why you need an entire trip to the dump to get rid of fridges.
CFCs in general. So, just putting CFCs into any kind of aerosol. It's taken until basically now to let the ozone layer regenerate to what it was during his reign, after people realized that in particular was doing bad. So that and leaded gasoline to stop stop the knocking effect. The dude eventually died by...
I know this story, go on.
Yeah, he built a device to get himself out of bed, and he was literally hoisted by his own petard.
Yeah, so like he didn't just invent it because he was lazy. He invented it because he eventually got crippled.
Yeah, he got polio.
Yeah, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
I think he died the year before the polio vaccine was developed.
I mean, I really couldn't tell you. Also,
I didn't.
It's one of those weird things where it depends how long he had polio for. Because usually when you get crippled, that's you had a very severe case of it for quite a while.
Yeah, he lasted 4 years with polio.
Yeah, so saying like the vaccine came out a year after he died, it's like he still had polio for 5 years. So it wasn't as close as you think it was. And a vaccine is not a cure, despite what some fuckwits seem to think.
No.
Rick, what are we doing?
Yeah, we're doing our 6 fighters and 3 arenas for, well, this is part 3 of Fantasy Starfighter. So
we need to come up with a solid name for this.
Yeah, we haven't. Yeah. Nonsense Rumble in a galaxy far, far away.
Nope.
No. It's we've got the Rumble. Half of these characters are going to show up in the Rumble eventually at some point, most likely.
Oh, I doubt it.
Not half of them. Like maybe 3. From things that have already been picked. But yes, who's going to be your first pick for today?
My first pick is going to be Ayla Secura.
Yeah, okay.
She was essentially Ahsoka before Ahsoka. I don't mean that personality-wise, but like she's a Twi'lek Jedi who, in the video games at least, she dual-wielded. She had a lightsaber in each hand, but I believe in the movies she didn't bother. Yeah.
In the movies, I don't think they even cared to give her that quirk, but in the video games, they didn't have a dual wielder, so they just gave it to her because the only people with interesting lightsabers in the Battlefront games tended to be Darth Maul and General Grievous, and then eventually Asajj Ventress.
This is true. But yeah, Ayla Secura is interesting, especially in terms of the prequels, because I believe in the movies she was given as a cameo to someone's kid.
Okay.
She only appeared because someone was like, "Can we have so and so in the movie?" And they're like, "I guess." So she gets killed on. I forgot the name of the planet.
Felucia.
That's the one.
Yeah. I know that because that was one of the things I nearly picked for my arena today, but I didn't because I didn't pick Ayla Secura.
That's fair, man. Felucia is such an interesting planet in the sense that, hey, we need another jungle world for the fucking Battlefront video game.
Yeah.
And they took one of the creatures that was in the Geonosian arena and were like, yeah, it lives here, I guess. I think it was the Acklay.
Yeah.
But yeah, her moveset is just going to be standard fucking dual wielder bullshit. I honestly don't know enough about her to give her a finishing move, but honestly, she can just be one of the low tier characters that just introduces dual saber fighting.
Yeah.
Again, she's just got bog standard lightsabers. It's just we're going to go with the fact that she has 2 because otherwise she's really boring.
Yeah.
All right, Rick, who's going to be your first pick?
My number 1 is Captain Tarballs. He's not the general because that's Jar Jar. He's a captain because it's in his name. But yeah, he's the Gungan fighter who is not a fuck up.
Yeah, he's the one who basically keeps Jar Jar alive through that battle.
Yeah.
That being said, I appreciate you giving me an easy one to fucking find a picture for the fucking thing.
Yep. Heyo dilly, Captain Tarballs. So yeah, he's got his spear. He's got the balls on the energy ball bowler.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where like you'd have to have like non-electrified ball ammo because it's been shown explicitly that those things only proc when they hit a robot.
Yeah. Or maybe he just has a different colour one when he's against non-robotic people.
I mean, looking at our list, we don't really have that many robots. I think we've got 2, and you picked both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, HK-47 and Proxy. Yeah. So, yeah, and like just as a spear user rather than a lightsaber user, I think that's already a pretty good opener.
Yeah, but more than just a spear user, he's also got a shield.
Yes.
So it's going to be a bit different than if we decide to pick up Mando specifically with his Beskar spear, because he very explicitly wields that two-handed. Yeah.
Until he melts it down because it's against his religion to make that into a weapon.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. So, he's going to be my first pick. and also, because of him, my first arena is going to be Oto Gunga.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I just have to begrudgingly really respect about the Phantom Menace is they put a lot of work into just the set design for Oto Gunga. It just looks so good.
I mean, case in point, the Star Wars Phantom Menace video game on the PlayStation 1 had Oto Gunga as a level, and you don't do fuck all there, you just walk from point A to point B. But it looks good, as far as a PS1 game can look good, because it's Oto Gunga. It's an interesting environment.
Yeah. So, how about you? Who's going to be your number 2?
I'm going to put in one Lando Calrissian.
Sweet. Yeah.
There really is two types of character you can put in this game. You got gun guys and lightsaber guys. But yeah, Lando's going to be interesting because I'm going to take, by the way, like Empire Strikes Back Lando, so he's not old and he's not Donnie Glover.
Yeah, sure.
That being said, I really wish we got that fucking movie.
Yeah, or series.
A series would be really good.
Yeah. Just Lando doing Lando shit.
Like, for real.
Venture capitalist rogue.
Like, if they really wanted to, they could even, like, just have it set during the Solo movie for the period of time when he's got the Falcon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But either way, we were robbed. His moveset would consist a lot of... it'd be a lot of keepaways with, like, quick rapid-fire shots.
Sure.
Because that's kind of what you got to do with these gun characters is the problem. Because he's not really a fighter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's more of a like hit and run at best kind of guy.
Exactly. Like he's like Han Solo is the rogue, but like this is the professional rogue.
Yes.
Like Han Solo will do the dirty work, the smuggling and stuff, and Lando is overseeing the smuggling.
Yeah, Lando's more of a mastermind type. He prefers to be sell himself as more of a suave business owner rather than a scoundrel.
Although he very definitely is.
Oh, yeah. They're both definitely the scoundrel class, which is just Star Wars Rogue.
But yeah, mentioning the type to run away and do hit and run, I would have his Super B. He runs away and just ducks and dives. This would be a really unique way to show off more of the environment of each stage, because he'd duck and dive behind things, take a pot shot and then fuck off, and by the time that the animations finished playing, the enemies had like 35% of their HP taken away.
Yeah.
From all the bullshit he's managed to jury rig.
Yeah, I can see a lot of his kit being just an escape that's just like he lays down some covering fire and retreats a bit. Yeah,
no, he's a zoner. We all know that character.
Yeah.
Right, who's next for you?
My next one is the Humble Droidicar. This is not an interesting character-wise, but I think it would be very interesting like playstyle-wise, because they are very fast when they're the most vulnerable and incredibly slow when they're the most dangerous.
Here's the thing, Rick, is I think this character will suck. It will either be too OP or it'll be too easy to kill.
Yeah, fair enough.
That you never have a one-on-one fight with a droidicar.
Yeah, not a real one, because it's normally essentially it's a gimmick for whatever stage you're in the game.
So it also sucks that they're not a character.
Yeah, I appreciate it's not a very good pick, but I thought it would be an interesting one to have for things like that.
Yeah, but I've always considered us being on a 2D stage, meaning the hit and run stuff doesn't really work.
Sure. Well, we'll get rid of the droidicar.
No, you stick to your fucking guns. You put the droidicar, fucking justify it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, yeah, just because I think it's an interesting droid to have that's not just another human as well. Like, nearly everything we got is humanoid. In fact, what have we got that's not been humanoid so far? Nothing.
Yes, because if you have something that's not humanoid, then it's no longer a character. Like, all of the non-humanoids in Star Wars can't talk.
Yeah, and even then, you got to go quite a way out of the humanoid territory before you've got something that's just a beast.
And, like, as interesting as beasts would be, it would completely fuck it. Like, here's the thing, it's like, in my brain, I'm making a Mortal Kombat, but with a Star Wars skin, you know?
Yeah.
And if the characters can't interact, that already takes an element out of the fun of it, which is why I kind of shat on the droidicar immediately, because what's going to happen when the droidicar has a confrontation with any of the previous characters? Nothing. It's just going to fucking shut up its shields and get ready to fight.
Yeah. Or I guess it could be part of a little droid battalion, and the regular battle droids with a bit of personality are the ones that get cut down during the opening.
Yeah, I guess, but even then, I'm just saying, like, and I also can't imagine its moveset being very good, because it can deploy a shield and fire like a fuck, which would make it OP, but then if you don't give it that, then it will get cut down in 2 seconds.
Oh man, I just had the thought of like making a bit like Pokemon Trainer and Smash, where you switch between different droids for your fight. So you got the Droidicar, you got the Super Battle Droid, and you've got a regular Battle Droid.
But unlike with Pokemon, there's really no variety between those three. The only difference is how are they going to shoot, you know? The Super Battle Droid fires a wrist-based blaster. The regular Battle Droid, you'd always be like, oh, fuck, I don't want this.
Yeah. Well, I guess you put the specialist weapon on the regular Battle Droid, like a bazooka or something.
Yeah, but again, the Super Battle Droid can just do that.
Sure. Oh, well, I picked a stinker. What's your number 3?
Like, so much of a stinker that you can't even think of a fucking finishing move.
Yeah, well... now that I've just edited it into a battle droid trio, they're just gonna team up, and you're just gonna go into a point of view of the three of them, and they're just gonna be looming above you. You're under arrest.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's your number 3?
Number 3 is Kit Fisto.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the Jedi who got fucked by Samuel L. Jackson having an ego.
Yeah. Specifically that as well. Like, yes, he died to Sidious, but he went down like a jobber.
Yeah, because Samuel L. Jackson said, my character's a badass, he shouldn't lose a one-on-one fight, which I also kind of agree with, but it's also Sidious, so...
Yeah, and I think even then they pretty much got to a standstill.
I mean, Mace Windu was winning until Anakin showed up.
Yeah. But then Sidious did have the ability to just go power, unlimited power, which I guess could have been at least partially deflected by the lightsaber, but, like, not perfectly. It was shown to be, like, very taxing.
Well, yeah, that's when he went all fucking Monster Mash, isn't it?
Yeah. It melted his face.
Like, Kit Fisto gets a lot of... Kit Fisto gets a lot of points because he's an alien with a unique design. He's got a green lightsaber, which just happens to blend with his design even better.
He's got that smile, that damned smile, and his lightsaber implicitly works underwater as well.
Yes, because he uses it regularly in Clone Wars.
Yes.
If ever there was an amphibious episode, you can bet your fucking left nut Kit Fisto's probably turning up.
Yeah.
You know, I do think that his design is a lot better in Clone Wars than it is in the movies, because in the movies they really had not perfected his prosthetics at all.
No. I think Ahsoka got the same, like, short end of the stick when she first showed up in Mando.
But with Ahsoka, it's not quite so obvious, because the only piece of gear she needs is her head tendrils, whereas Kit Fisto, it's the entire fucking face.
Yeah, and I'm guessing half the time they're just using CGI for most of him anyway, so...
What, Kit Fisto?
Yeah. Or is he always practical effects?
He's always practical effects, unless he's in a big fight scene, but that's kind of a redundant thing to say, because even humans are CGI in those.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it doesn't look good. But yeah, his finishing move would probably just be a cheeky force push with the smile, and then horribly cutting off limbs.
Yeah.
You know, the Jedi way is to disarm rather than kill.
Yeah, and they show in Revenge of the Sith in particular what disarm actually means. They just turn that movie into Stump Wars.
And that's what happens when you have a militaristic order that is like, we're not supposed to kill people, but maiming's fine.
Yeah, you permanently maim this person, and then they can't fight again.
Exactly.
Except you know that if they do survive that, they could just get a prosthetic.
I will put in my first arena here. I can't remember if I used it before, but fuck it, we're using it again. It's going to be the Camino Spaceport, so specifically the area where Obi-Wan fought Jango Fett.
Oh, when it's pissing down with rain, yeah.
Well, it's Camino, it's always pissing down with rain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be there. It's an interesting enough environment. You can have any number of spaceships being used in the port instead of Slave One, but it could also be empty, which would be just as fun. It's just a very cinematic area to have a fight.
Yeah, and like your ships can even be coming and going and like provide different obstacles at different stages of the fight if need be.
Less so that, just interesting visuals. Because again,
yeah, sure.
In my brain, it's a 2D fighting plane, so putting obstacles is silly.
Sure. Well, when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking like Street Fighter style, where it lands in the background, but if you punch where it is, then it does damage to it, which is silly, but it's funny.
I don't remember Street Fighter ever doing that, but I'm not going to argue with you. Who's your next character, Rick?
My next one is going to be from the from Legends, from the Yuzun Vong. It's going to be War Master Tsavong La. He's the big bad, essentially, of the Yuzun Vong.
Rick, how easy is it going to be for me to find an image for this?
I'm pretty sure he's on the front cover of at least one of the novels, so it should be easy enough.
Okay.
But yes, He's a very big version of the standard Yuzon Vong, and his main weapon is an amphistaff, which is a snake that turns into a stick and can explicitly fight against lightsabers because everything he needs to be able to fight against lightsabers.
Yeah, that's one of the problems George had with his OG writing, is that lightsabers can cut anything except
another lightsaber.
Another lightsaber and anything the plot demands.
Mm-hmm.
The most damning thing was in Phantom Menace when they showed it just casually. Granted, he needed to hold it there for a while, but it could just cut through fucking blast shield doors.
Yeah. So going through it normally was easy enough, but going through 3 layers of it took a long ass time for it to melt.
Ridiculous
but it was
levels
doable.
It's just ridiculous. It makes the lightsabers far too OP, and it's why whenever I play a game, I get bothered when it takes multiple hits to kill a thing.
Yeah. The other thing is, why did they they fire a torpedo at the Death Star and not just a lightsaber? If it can cut through anything.
Good luck.
Yep. Yeah.
Because it makes no sense to do that, Rick.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, the reason I picked him also to be a representative of the Yuzon Vong is that as part of that story, they did in fact take over Coruscant. They have a propensity for biotechnology, and what they did when they took Coruscant is they terraformed it with a bunch of biotech that's just everywhere. So my next pick is a corrupted Coruscant.
Sure. I don't know what these creatures look like, Rick.
They look a bit like... They kind of don't have noses, so they look kind of like hobgoblins with no noses.
So they're big and red.
Well, I guess they're kind of like different undead-looking tones. So like yellows, greens. I think there are a couple of reds, but yeah, they're just villain race-looking guys.
They sound like jobbers.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were. They're very difficult. They're also immune to the Force.
What is it with people fucking doing this? Just it's because the Force can solve almost every single problem, including plot holes. So it's like, how do we make a villain that's threatening against the Jedi? They're immune to the Force now. You fucking what when?
Yeah, so as an entire species, they're immune to the Force, and one of the ways that the tension is artificially inflated is that there's like an anti-Jedi apologist force operating around the galaxy who want to just do a new Jedi purge just to stop the Yuzon Vong from killing everyone automatically and just letting them conquer things, because the Jedi are pretty much the only ones standing in the way.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's real dumb. But yeah, they can't be sensed through the Force. The only way that they can be affected through the Force is physically, so Force lightning or throw something at them.
That's even dumber. Oh god. So they're immune to the Force, but not anything that can damage you via the Force. That's fucking... Well, whatever, Rick. What's the finishing move? Let's move on.
He will have his... He quite often he has his staff up his arm. So... And one of his little things is he will send his staff out to take a chunk out of your chest. So he's just going to do that, but with your heart. So it's going to be the pull out your heart and show it to you before you die.
Is that the sort of thing he would do?
I think so. He's normally a tactician because he's the War Master, but when he does throw down, he really throws down.
Sure, I'm also not really grasping the core concept of this weapon, but that's on me.
Yeah,
it's
as far
snake,
as
but it's a staff. That's what you said.
Yeah, they call it an amphistaff. But yes, and so corrupted Coruscant is his arena. Who's going to be your number 4?
Last time round we had Darth Maul. This time round we've got Savage Opress.
Okay, yeah.
Although, I don't know about you, Rick, but I saw this guy's name way before I heard it said, and I thought it was Savage for the longest time.
Oh, yeah. The first time I ever saw this guy's name written down was in the Lego Star Wars Clone Wars video game, because I had not seen the Clone Wars. I'd only seen the movie and 3 episodes at the beginning of the series. And I'm like, okay, well, here's a Lego Star Wars game. We might as well buy it. It's fun. Plus, there was nothing else on the 3DS when it first came out. And yeah, he is someone that you get right at the end of the game because, he's the ultimate unlockable. And Savage Oppress. Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's a good name, even if you pronounce it wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's Darth Maul's brother.
Yeah, he's bigger than Darth Maul. He's bulkier than Darth Maul. He's dumber than Darth Maul.
And he's even got the same role of Darth Maul in that he is the third apprentice in the Rule of Two.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it's even dumber than that, because I think he's the fourth. Because I'm not sure how I'm not sure explicitly of how the timeline worked, because my memory's a bit fuzzy. But Ventress definitely came before him, and I don't know if she's still Dooku's apprentice by the time he takes on Savage.
I think she is, but I could be wrong.
I also think she is, but it's been a minute, so it's one of those. But yeah, it's one of those where we've already got Maul in the game. Why not put Savage in as well? Like, he's got a cool design. He's bulkier. He gives off the impression, and pretty much acts like this as well, where again he is going to overwhelm you with his skill with a lightsaber, not going to impress you with his skill with the Force.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is like everything people thought about Darth Maul taken to 100. Like, he's all physical power, like next to no force power.
Yeah, like Darth Maul's also not good with the Force. He's just, he gets better, but
yeah, his main Force thing is awareness and a little bit of telekinesis, like when he chucks that item just to smash something into the wall and open a door behind him to cover his retreat.
But yeah, it's Savage Opress. There's not a lot to say. He'd be doing a lot of aerial attacks, like jumping up to slam down. He would not be anywhere near as graceful as Maul. Granted, we gave Maul the Darksaber and not his dual blade, but if Darth Maul had his dual blade, he'd be doing all fancy flips and twists and shit, whereas Savage is just like, no flips, just fists.
Yeah, Savage is very much a brute force version of the same style, as it were.
Oh, absolutely. And it even shows in the character design, like, he is physically more imposing than Maul.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I think his finishing move, his coup de grace, so to speak, would literally just be, if he's against another lightsaber wielder, he'd just slam his saber against his until the other saber is dropped from the force of the blows, and then just, end it. Like, no, he doesn't come off as the type to gloat, so it'd be very by the numbers ending. And yeah, and then he'd fucking piss off. Unfortunately, I haven't really themed my arenas, so I'm going to put the next one here, and it's going to be the Endor moon base.
Okay. Outside, inside, or what?
Just outside, so the base itself is going to... What I'm picturing is, the door, which Han and Leia are sort of almost get caught near the end of Jedi at, that's going to be in the background, obviously without Han and Leia there.
Yeah, fair enough.
So But yeah, what about you? Who's your next character?
My next one is going to be Lady Lumaya. She's one of the very first OC villains in Star Wars ever. She was in the comics in the 70s. She starts as Luke's girlfriend and is revealed to be the big bad of that arc. She has a light whip.
Okay.
So yeah, she's one of the first character. Well, she is the first character to have a light whip. I think hers is explicitly said to be more like an electro whip, and then later on when they bring it back, they make it into like a multi-segmented thing of mini lightsabers. Luke builds a second lightsaber just to be able to fight her, so if one of his lightsabers gets caught up in it, he's got another one to fight with.
Again, Luke's got this really unfair ability where he'll only ever lose a fight once, because he is just that good at adapting to combat scenarios.
Yeah. However, owing to the fact that they were kind of old flames, he doesn't kill her, and she survives right until the end of the Yuuzhan Vong War, and beyond.
Sure.
So, yeah, she becomes a threat again, 30 years after Return of the Jedi.
I can merely nod along. I will just say, as an aside, as cool as these fantasy different designs are for different lightsaber-esque weaponry, I really fucking hate them.
Yeah, nothing's going to be as stupid as the Umbrella.
Yeah, I know, and that's exactly what I was thinking of when I said that statement. I get it. It's creative, but it's fucking dumb. The lightsaber is already dumb. Fuck, there was a lightsaber chainsaw, Rick. It made no sense.
Yeah. So what would I do for the finisher? Well, she's got the lightsaber whip. Just wrap you up with the whip and then pull, and then you fall apart. So yeah, that's it for my number 4. Who's going to be in number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Zam Wesell.
Ah, yeah. The changeling assassin.
Yeah, we don't get to see a lot of her in her appearance because Clone Wars is set after the movie, and the movie we see her for about 5 minutes. But Her default design, she's cute. Her actual baseline form is hideous and disturbing. But I think it would be very interesting to have a character a bit like the one you introduced last time, where she could take the appearance of the character but retain her fighting style.
Sure. So you kind of fake someone out with, I'm like Leia or whatever, but no, she's just person with gun who is the assassin rather than Leia chucking the little thermal detonators.
Yeah. I think it would be too much effort to make Zam Wesell turn into a character that whatever character she's fighting would care about. So it would just be like mirror matches, but she'd fight with the... She's got a really sleek, interesting looking design for her pistol. It's almost like the big starship from episode 1.
Okay, yeah.
It's just a really cool design for a pistol. I think her main gimmick would be like she does poison damage because of the worms.
Yeah. And that's also how she gets killed as well, I believe.
No, the poison she gets killed with is a dart fired by Django.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I believe it's a different type of poison.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's dumb. Like, we'll get there eventually, but the fucking assassination plotline in Clone Wars is fucking stupid.
Yeah, so, Dooku hires Django to go kill Amidala, so Django hires Zam Wesell to go kill Amidala, so Zam Wesell hires some bugs to go kill Amidala.
Yeah, it's very convoluted. That being said, N.D. Stevenson wrote a very fun series of comics about Zam Wesell and Jango Fett getting on behind the scenes, and Zam Wesell being a not mother, but mother to Boba.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like last year. It was a very cute series of comics. I say comics. She released like a panel a day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, I said she. You know what I mean.
He.
Takes some time to get used to. My apologies.
Yep.
But yeah, the I think their finishing move would be a, I don't know, man, probably just a headshot. Like, she's meant to be a skilled assassin.
Yeah, well, I guess you could also use the bugs as a finale as well.
But it wouldn't make any sense, though, would it?
Yeah, I guess not.
Just like, I won. Here, beetles! I believe they were centipedes, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like carnivorous, like venom centipedes, yeah.
But yeah, who's your penultimate character?
Well, number 5 is going to be a double saber user who is not an arsehole for most of the time. It's Bastila Shan. She is your
not an arsehole, he says.
Yeah, she's your Jedi companion in Knights of the Old Republic 1. She introduces you to Jedi stuff. She is very entitled. She's a bit of a princess, as it were. Her major thing is battle meditation. So in close quarters, she's not as good as she could have been because she's more based on like big battles and like buffing everyone else. But even when she does get into combat, she's still like generally competent. And she does have a proper heel turn towards the end when she gets tortured into being a dark Jedi, and you have to persuade her to stop being an arsehole if you want her to live.
Which is very ironic given, the fact that you are who you are.
Yeah. Unless you embrace being an arsehole and you can just adopt her and she's like, yeah, I didn't want to serve the other person, I want to serve you anyway, so yeah, let's just go and fuck him up. So yeah, you get her on your side either way, or just kill her if you can't pass the speech check. But yes, she's got a double yellow saber, and I thought that would just be a cool thing to just have someone who's not Savage is the main one as a double saber user, because I was assuming that someone would bring in a double saber at some point, and Pong Krell is my other double saber user, and he kind of flip flops famously.
Pong Krell sucks so fucking much.
And yeah, her finishing move is probably just going to be a saber toss, which is something that she can do as a normal move, but it's something that we've only really seen Darth Vader and the Inquisitors do, and seeing a good guy do it would be kind of cool.
I'm with you on that. The most interesting thing about today's episode, Rick, so far, is you can really see the two different points in which we joined the franchise.
Yeah, fair enough.
So all of these characters you mentioned are fucking old as fuck, and you got me fucking introducing characters from mostly the prequels.
Yeah. Well, Bastila was released during the prequel release window. Like, they got the choice of, you can make an Attack of the Clones game, or you can make a vast prequel. And they chose the blank slate. fight, and that was the correct decision in my opinion. But yes, who's going to be your final one?
My final pick is going to be Moff Gideon from Season 3.
Okay. So with his battle suit.
Yeah, where he's basically trying to fight like a Mandalorian. Doesn't work in his favour because he's fighting actual Mandalorians, but he's very much an endgame boss in that scenario.
Yeah. Like, if he had the Darksaber, then you could see him trying to fight like Bo-Katan does, but he doesn't. He just wants it, and even then, it gets destroyed during that fight.
It really is a case of, like, until I did a last minute swerve on this, because originally I was going to be saying Moff Gideon at the end of Season 2 when he had the Darksaber, but I'm like, nah, he gets a super battle suit and does super battle things.
Yeah.
There's not much to say here about his moveset. He would fight like he does. He does a lot of keep away stuff. If people get too close, he just fucking clocks him in the jaw with his basically robot fist. And I just would love to hire I can't pronounce this fucker's name. Esposito, is that it?
Oh yeah, Giancarlo Esposito.
That's the one. I'd just love to hire him for like 10 minutes, just to voice 10 minutes of smack talk.
Yeah.
Because he would be constantly taunting his opponent whenever they missed, whenever he smacked, because he knows how to get under people's skin. It's part of his arsenal.
Yeah. Well, by the same token, so does Dooku.
Yeah, but Dooku is a bit... Unless it's someone personal to Dooku, he doesn't really.
Yeah, I get you.
The reason why he's shit-talking Anakin and Obi-Wan is like, Obi-Wan is like, I thought Qui-Gon would teach you better, because he's genuinely disappointed. He smack-talks Anakin because he just doesn't like Anakin.
Yeah.
Partially because he kind of knows what's happening with Anakin.
Yeah.
But anyway, his finishing move would be burying whatever stage it is in rubble and the enemy character along with it.
Yeah, and then he jets off.
Yeah, and he goes, "Peace, bitch!" But yeah, I'll put in my last arena here, but again, it's got no connotations with the character. It's going to be Jabba's floating skiff palace bullshit.
Ah, yeah, the sail barge.
Yeah, the sail barge. Specifically in front of, not even in front of, on one of the little platforms above the Sarlacc pit.
Sure, I get you. Yeah, that's I like that one. That's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Could even have like the game end if you knock the opponent off and they end up in the Sarlacc's belly. But yeah, who is your final pick, Rick? Who's the final edition this time for our Star Wars fighting game?
My last one is just as a twin pistol ARC Trooper. It's going to be Captain Rex.
Okay.
And yeah, he's got his jetpack that he uses now and again, but not very often, because that's much more of an ARC Trooper thing and not so much a Rex thing. But yeah, he's going to be one of the clones that is a twin pistol user, and I thought that he was a more compelling pick than Tech.
Yeah, Tech is a bit... Well, Tech's weird, isn't it? Because Tech's even less important now.
Yeah, like, he has the twin pistols, but even then, his strength was his brain and things that he could do with it.
Fucking weaponized autism at its finest.
Yeah. So someone who has essentially the same style, but is all in on the warfare part, yeah, I think Rex is a good pick for this. I also think he's possibly the best reg clone, as it were.
Well, the other option is Cody, and I'm pretty sure he got killed at the end of Clone Wars.
Probably.
I can't remember. It's been more than 5 minutes.
Cody shows up in Bad Batch.
Does he? It's been a minute.
Yeah, that's like the only time that he shows up at all, though. Like,
yeah, doesn't he appear in the mess hall talking to Crosshair?
I think so. Like, he's very not important.
Yes,
like,
which is weird considering he was Obi-Wan's clone.
Yeah, despite being the only one who's essentially named. He's in the actual movie, yeah, he becomes like not important because I think the reason is they didn't want to humanize the one that shoots Obi-Wan.
I guess.
So they gave us Rex instead.
Yeah, and here's the thing with Rex, because I'm more used to him in Bad Batch than Clone Wars now, I don't see him as a fighter. He very clearly is, but he very much becomes the figurehead of the movement and more of a commander than actually a fighting man.
Yeah.
Despite the fact every time we see him, he's shooting a bitch.
And yeah, the finisher is more a case of just shoot a bitch and then just jet off.
It's very Django Fett.
I'm out. Yeah, it's very, yeah, like I say, yeah, like you say, just channeling what Django would have done as a rogue, but this time just as a like a lawful good, neutral good professional.
Yeah, instead of him jetting off, I can imagine him like pressing his headset and being like target neutralized and then getting a pickup.
Yeah, from a Republic gunship or Allied little cruiser.
Mm-hmm.
But my final arena is one that I didn't really tie this to anything. It is the Lusankya. This is a superstar destroyer that is used as a prison ship / concentration camp.
Fun!
Yeah. So just a superstar destroyer interior. And it's normally kept underground beneath Coruscant.
Wow,
And,
I didn't think this sentence could get any dumber.
Yeah, and I guess the gimmick of the stage is you got to finish the fight in a shorter amount of time before it takes off and takes like a third of the surrounding cities with it.
Why would that be the gimmick of the stage?
Because that's something that happens in the books. It when it's buried underneath Coruscant, when they want to escape with it, the baddies just don't care about who's built on top of it, so they just leave.
Yeah, but more to my point is like, why would you could have a bad guy against a bad guy in the fight, so why would they give a fuck if the time limit was shorter? Like you got to give a consequence to the player, not the characters.
I don't know, because they whoever's controlling the whole thing is going to leave, and you're all going to be fucked if it leaves. I don't know. Well, I didn't think that far ahead.
Okay, that could sum up a lot of things today.
Yes. So, yes, that's about it from today. So, from my picks, who's your favourite?
I don't know half of your picks, Rick, is one of the problems. So I have to default to Rex.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Nothing personnel, but like I think I made my dislike of the Droidicar pick very apparent.
Yeah.
And everyone else's characters I'm just not familiar with.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It is what it is. How about you?
I'm picking Savage Opress.
Yeah.
Mostly because we had the most to say about him.
Oh, I don't know. We spoke quite a bit about Kit Fisto and his shit makeup.
We did, and we chatted about Lando and how we were robbed.
Yeah.
That was more about the character rather than how he fights.
This is true.
So, yeah,
we didn't really have a lot to talk about Lando's fighting style because he doesn't.
Yeah, he ducks behind a wall and sometimes takes a couple of pot shots. And he's more known for raising his helmet and nodding in Jabba's palace than any of the fighting that he does.
It's still one of the best scenes in the fucking Family Guy Star Wars piss takes, but only the first time.
Yeah, where they're just tuba.
It's so funny, but every time you watch it again, you're like, yeah, I get it.
But yes, if you like the video, you got the comment section down below on YouTube, and if you're listening via one of the many audio platforms, you can instead send an email to
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Yeah, join us again next time for something, well,
completely
closer to
different.
Home. Yeah, something completely different. Something not a long time ago, not in a galaxy far, far away. Probably something on planet Earth, a bit more down to earth. See you later, everybody.
Watch us talk about Star Wars again just to fuck them off.